Good morning, traders. So this is your DAX daily review. So we pretty much reached for this level, starting off on the weekly chart. You'll see we reached up for this level of, what was it, 11,861. Didn't quite get there before I sold off ever so slightly, but we did have a green day, and it's another green day. So what I would expect here is I'm still expecting a bounce somewhere off this level to the downside. So the weekly view is of a wedge, and that is pretty clear. There's my bottom, and there's my top. Okay, so it could be a channel as well, but I still believe that this is just a retracement up into this area before we start moving to the downside again. So the question is, where is that move going to happen? What catalyst is going to drive it to the downside? But let me just tidy this up before we start moving to lower time frames. Okay, so starting off with the daily, you can see how we just fell short of the top level. We did manage to close just above the other level. And both these levels are pretty much what you could determine as the neckline for that big head and shoulders. And bear in mind that target hasn't been hit yet. Now if I just tidy this up here, you'll see there is my trend line, and there's my top trend line. Okay, so we're starting to look like a bit of a consolidation pattern. We haven't tested the 200 moving average yet either, and this is the 200 EMA. But one thing I have noticed is, just give me one sec, I just want to put in another moving average of a 200 simple. Okay, so one thing I've noticed is that we do play with the 200 EMA, but there are a lot of people trading the 200 SMA, so the simple moving average, and that is up there. So we're still technically below that. So for some people, this is still we're still in negative territory for the DAX. And then if I look at the weekly, it's a different picture. We're above the 200 EMA and SMA on both. Okay, so just something to bear in mind. Sometimes it's worthwhile just having both on your chart, just to see exactly what's going on. Okay, so moving to 4 hour, you can see we had a nice rally and then a sell-off just short of this level. So I do expect that we're going to test this level here, and then another move to the upside to come and test 11,861. And that 11,861 is pretty much the area that I'm looking for a little short, and just to see what's going to happen. Okay, so if we just move down to the hour, you can see how we had this indecision here. It was pretty much a break of either side of the fractals. We got the break to the upside, and it was quite a violent breakup. Okay, now the other reason why I'm saying it's probably just a retest of this breakout before another move up is because we have another wedge. Okay, we've had this really strong move up, consolidation and some profit taking moving down. So we're looking for another entry long, and the other thing that we need to do is just put your Fibonacci on here. And you can see we're at the 50% level. So this area is a perfect area for me to look for longs again. Okay, and the measured move here is pretty much going to be that level there, and lo and behold, it meets up with this top trend line, and it also breaks that top level. Okay, so this is a very interesting area to see, because if we can break through here with a daily close above 11,861, then you pretty much have a break of a level, and you can see a rally and then a pullback, come test this level, and then we move up, and then there's a good probability that that neckline or that head and shoulder is going to hold. Also, not hold, is going to fail. Okay, so that's kind of my view on this at the moment. So let's just tidy this up so we can get the actual entry points, and I'll do that on the half hour. Okay, for all intents and purposes, we've gone sideways out of this wedge, so I'd like to see us come and test the break of the wedge. And so I come down to the triangle and test it, so that means I'd like to see, that's quite a far way down. Let's just see if there's another level above that. Let's pick this up off a 4 hour. There's one there. Okay, that's just above price. Nope. So there's nothing really there. So that's the one level that we've utilized, but this level hasn't played out. Okay, so this is where you've got to use a little bit of savvy. So obviously we would like to see it come down to 11,725. If we can get a price to come down to 11,275, then there's a good possibility that we can pick up an entry here. Fairly big stop loss though. It's an 84-point stop loss, so that's pretty big for the DAX. But what I would actually look for is look for a price to form some kind of positive price action or bullish price action, either right where we are now, in other words, not dropping below 11,734, and then starting to rally, and then have your entry there with a stop just sort of 10 points below this level. Let's just pick up this other level here as well. You can see quite a bit happening in the zone, so that's kind of what I would be looking at, is looking for a long entry with a stop around. I'd actually maybe let's just see if we can pick something up off the 12 minutes here. This is definitely an area, so I think let's just look at the ichimoku. That will give me a better idea. So it's bouncing off the bottom of the cloud here on the 12, and we're bouncing off Kijinsen here on the 30. So I would actually just looking for my entry long somewhere around here with a stop sort of 10 points below, 10 or 20 points below the bottom of this tail. I think that's going to be probably the best way to do it. Trend is very strong to the upside at the moment, so there's no reason. If you look at the daily, how Kijinsen and Kijinsen are pointing violently to the upside. Now, 187 points is too much. Yeah. Okay, so let's just go back here, and that gives me the view of what we're looking for. So back to the 30 minutes. So I'm looking for a long, first price would be in this area right here, okay, which obviously dropped below this tail, so that would be my first prize. Second prize is going to be somewhere around this area here, okay, and we may even get a deeper pullback into the zone, but somewhere in this zone is what I'm looking for a long. And the best way to do this is trade on the 12-minute or the 15-minute, wait for some kind of positive price action off one of these three levels, place your trade, and put your stop 10 points below this bottom level. Okay, so even if you get it up there, that's going to give you a 40-point stop loss. Okay, so levels you need to watch for are 11,734, 11,724, and 11,712. So you want to stop below 11,700. Okay. Next fact, you should be below this pin bar here, but I think I'd rather not risk it. If it's going to come down to the bottom here, I'd rather get another entry down here and just take the loss. Okay, so that's kind of my view on this. Expecting this as a flag, and I'm expecting this flag to break, and I'm expecting one of two things to happen. Okay, so First thing is this measured move, which could play out. And then obviously the second thing is, which I think is the most likely scenario, is a measured move failing and 11861 being your target. Okay, so if, let's say we get somewhere up there, you've got 120-point trade on the DAX. Okay, there we go, guys. That's my view for now. I hope it helps. And whatever you do, just keep those stops tight. Anything can happen. And enjoy the rest of your day. Cheers for now.